stand a little through a few technical difficulties there, but we're up and running now. This is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction for the match against West Ham United, and some big news, some from the Solskjaer press conference about Ander Herrera, and also some from external factors in relation to the director of football. Manchester United in a three-way. Everyone wants a three-way on a Friday, don't they? We're in a three-way for Paul Mitchell, who is RB Leipzig's sort of sporting director, formerly of Spurs, formerly of Southampton, very, very good CV at Spurs and Southampton, works alongside Pochettino. Arsenal interested in him, Chelsea interested in him, Manchester United interested in him. To be honest with you, he's a player. He's not a player. He's a director of football, stroke head of recruitment that I've wanted at Manchester United for a long time. A lot of you have mentioned him for a long time. It's interesting that we're now linked to him. It would be disappointing if we missed out on him. He is a Manchester lad. Are we actually after him? We should have been after him for a bloody long time. Maybe in fairness, with this director of football role, you've got to wait till the end of the season with some of them, because good director of footballs will be in position, I suppose. So maybe he comes in the summer. But hopefully we can get him. That's just in the papers today that United are in a three-way. Get the lube out for Chelsea, Arsenal and United for Paul Mitchell. So we'll see what happens with that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference. Welcome to Hot Fuzz 44, who is our latest member of the United Stand Club. Yes, we have got United Stand kits available now. We've also got like hoodies and all sorts like that. Link are in the video description, which have the United Stand emblem on. So you can get that. A few people asking about that. I'll talk about that in a bit, but links in the video description for that. Let's start off with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there. He was asked about Ander Herrera. I want to talk about that, and I also want to talk about leadership as well. He was asked about Ander Herrera, and I was really pleased that we got some clarity on the Ander Herrera situation from our manager. He also spoke about how the big problem at Manchester United at the moment, which a lot of us were talking about last night, and he's spot on there. We'll talk about that, but let's talk about Ander Herrera. So Ander Herrera, the situation with Ander Herrera, according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is that talks are ongoing. You'd have to ask Ander Herrera about whether he wants to stay at the club or not, or what's actually going on. I think that's a straight bat from Ole to say, look, I don't know what's going on. I think the point in question with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is quite simply this. It's about what other clubs are offering him. He's out of contract. His contract has been allowed to go down by Manchester United, and you've got other clubs, bigger clubs than us at the moment, offering him more money. I think he wants to stay here, but I just don't think the club want to pay him the money that he's probably worth, and that is disappointing, of course. But what he said about Ander Herrera, quite interestingly, was that, look, Ander Herrera's frustrated at the moment because of the injury he's got. He was injured against Liverpool, which we know he had to go off. And then he's come back and he's got another injury. He mentioned that hopefully he'll be back for Chelsea or Man City. But to me, that's too long. I mean, this is forget Ander Herrera's contract talks. I think this is a massive blow for Manchester United. To lose a player like that, whether you are dreaming and you think McTominay and Fred are better or not, the point is that losing a player like Ander Herrera at this point of the season is really disappointing, because we need that depth in the squad. I mean, he said Matic is a warrior and Matic is trying to get back. And with all due respect, Matic is just going to sit in front of the back four like a slug. He's not going to give us the impetus that we need in the final third, that tenacity. And I would rather that Matic actually stayed ill for a few more weeks, because I think McTominay and Fred give us far, far more. I would like Herrera to be there, though. But what a great question that he was asked about Ander Herrera, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was, if he was fit, would you continue to play him? And he said, yes. Yes, I would. Whether he's here for 5 weeks or 5 months, I would play Ander Herrera, because he gets what Manchester United's all about, and he wants to play for this club. So that was good to hear, because I think there's a lot of agendas, there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of myths floating around on social media that Ander Herrera is, he's not being picked because he won't sign a contract. Don't pick him because he wants to leave the club. Idiot mentality is what I would say. I'll keep saying this. Aaron Ramsey's been fantastic for Arsenal recently. He's definitely leaving. He's going to Juventus. He's signed the contract. But you don't bite your nose off to spite your face. And I think to be honest with you, this is only speculation, but I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is probably quite annoyed with what's happened with the Ander Herrera situation. It was only a couple of months ago he was talking about how fundamental he is to the United lineup, and a couple of months later he's now potentially losing that player because of how we've handled his contract. And let's not forget, De Gea still hasn't signed a new contract. He's free to go next summer as well. Mata's still not signed a contract. He's free to go in a few weeks. The way we deal with these contracts is a joke, but I'm reassured by what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said about Ander Herrera, about what an important player he is for us in these last few weeks. Unfortunately, he is injured and may not be back until games like Chelsea and City, which means we go with what we've got. And for me, what we've got is Fred, McTominay and Pogba. That's the midfield I would be going with over the next few games. Certainly that should be enough to get us a result against West Ham tomorrow, and then hopefully Everton away, and then we've got those big games against Chelsea and Man City. Barcelona's going to take care of itself, isn't it, really? Let's just let's say that. But I agree with Paul Robinson. The Matic is a 3-point turn. I think when Matic turns around, when a lorry reverses, that's Matic. But injury front, we know we've got no Luke Shaw. We know we've got Ashley Young. They're not injured, they're suspended. Valencia doesn't look like he'll be fit either. I had him in my predicted lineup for tomorrow because I would rather play Valencia at right back than Darmian and Rojo as left back. But we've got Delo as well. He mentioned Darmian, so maybe Darmian comes into this game as well. The reality is I'm more concerned about the Everton game in a week's time when Ashley Young's back but Luke Shaw's still suspended. West Ham at home, I would probably play Ethan Lard. I would play a young lad at right back. I don't think it matters, but I really don't think it's going to cause us too many problems if we play Darmian or Rojo anyway. In a game like this, we should be fine. Other than that, injuries, Alexis Sanchez might be back. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really care if he's back or not. But what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did talk about is the striking issues. Very, very blunt, very, very clear that the reason United have lost, we've got 1 win in 5, 4 losses in 6. We are not scoring goals. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is obviously an ex-superb striker. And he said it's about belief. We've been practicing on it on the training ground. We're not taking the chances. We should have won against Wolves in the league. There's a couple of other games that we could have done far better in if we took our chances. We're not doing that. And that's something I touched on a bit last night with Rashford, with Lukaku, with Martial, with Lingard. They're all pretty much out of form at the moment, and it's unlucky, but we need to deal with that. You've got four forwards all playing way below their level at the moment. And it's weird because you can expect maybe 2 or 3 of them, but 4 of them, at least if we had 1 of them. But this is why I think Lukaku is important tomorrow, because against teams like West Ham, this is where he flat-tracked bullies, and we need a couple of goals in this game. Reality is, tomorrow is about getting over the line again. I hate to say it, but that's what April, May is about in many ways. It's about getting over the line. It's great to roll up and beat somebody 4 or 5-0, but ultimately it's about 3 points tomorrow. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer again mentioning that we need the 15 points from 18 to get into the top 3. If you don't get a win against West Ham, we ain't getting top 4. I'm sorry. That West Ham at home is probably one of our easiest fixtures we've got left with Huddersfield. So we've got to win this game of football. We've got to just keep throwing punches, basically. We've got Cardiff and Huddersfield last 2 games of the season. So these next few games, West Ham, Everton, Chelsea, Man City, we've got to get big points out of those. The Man City one is obviously going to be very weird because if we beat them, then maybe we give Liverpool the league. We've got to give ourselves a cushion. And to do that, we've got to beat West Ham, Everton and Chelsea. So this is the first of 3 massive games in the league for United, and we've got to do that. And I think if the strikers can be on form, that's great. He was asked a question as well. Thanks for the contribution from Amir via Takir. He was asked a question about, can he afford to rest players? And Riley Robertson says, Scott is young, but I believe he is captain material. He's got a captain mentality, says Riley Robertson. You know what? If McTominay continues to develop, and I think, football in its nature is very flip-floppy. I always admire and get excited by how people react to one good performance of a United player. I don't mind it. Bandwagon or not, it's exciting when people start saying, Scott McTominay can be our new Nicky Butt, our new Darren Fletcher, our new Roy Keane. I personally don't believe that, but it's exciting to think that. But it is only 1 game. But having said that, he's had 2 or 3 good games since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come here. It might be with McTominay that he needs to go on loan next year, because if we buy well, where's he going to get the game time that he needs? What McTominay needs and what Fred needs is consistent game time. Is a midfield 3 of Fred, McTominay and Pogba going to get us a title challenge next year? No, it's not. So how do you do that? And we need to buy a midfielder. So imagine if we bought an Ndembele. Who do you take out of that team? It's probably going to be McTominay, but he can't sit on the bench next season and play a handful of games. He needs to play week in, week out. So it might be that McTominay goes on loan next year to a Championship club or a lower Premier League club. Or he might force himself into the starting team and it's Fred who doesn't get in and a new signing comes in. It's going to be interesting to see. Leadership, he's been at the club a long time. I think the way he plays football, I don't think it's a bad shout. It's not a bad shout, not by any means. But resting players for against West Ham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spoke about that. He said, I can rest a couple of players because if you look about it, Lingard and Martial normally start games, but they were on the bench against Barcelona. So I can rest players. For me, the obvious one is Marcus Rashford. I said it on the preview last night. If nobody saw that, give it a watch. Marcus Rashford is out of form. He's been playing with an illness. He's been playing with injuries. He needs a rest, and this is the perfect game to do it because a lot of people think a lot of things about Marcus Rashford. He's obviously well liked within the club. I like him. I think he's a fantastic young talent, but at the moment he's struggling, and for his own benefit, I think he needs to be rested. And are you going to rest him away at Barcelona? No. Are you going to rest him against Everton away? No. Then you've got Chelsea and Man City at home. So West Ham's the perfect game to rest Rashford. And as I said, I would start Lukaku with Martial and Lingard either side of him. I think Martial and Lingard are the other way. I think they need game time. They look very rusty. Both coming back from injuries and both been rusty. Lukaku, this is the sort of game he scores goals. And Rashford, let's just give him a rest. That's what I think. But it'd be interesting to see who else he might rest because I think one of the centre-backs could do with a rest. Interestingly enough, he didn't mention it in his press conference, but talking about leaders, there was an article on the Manchester United website where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said, the one thing I saw from Lindelof's performance against Barcelona in the week was leadership qualities. And how many of you lot have spoken about, well, who's United's next captain? Ashley Young can't lead a pack of ants to a picnic. Valencia's going to leave. Pogba, I don't know whether he's a captain. I don't think Pogba's a captain, to be honest. I think he's an influencer, but I don't think he's a captain. I think he needs to focus on his game. I think we made that mistake with Rooney. I think Rooney's an influencer, but when we gave him the captaincy, he lost that frustration, that fire. De Gea's a goalkeeper, and is he going to stay? I think Lindelof is the viable option to be Manchester United's captain long term, so I'd be interested to see what happens with that. He also spoke about the fact that we've got that belief in front of goal is very, 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 very important. And look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still thinks that 15 points from the next 6 games, he said top 3. He thinks that will get us third. And it's interesting when you look at the top 4, actually, just to talk about that for a moment, then we'll take some of your comments. When you look at the top 4 race at the moment, apart from that dropped points against Wolves, as long as we beat West Ham tomorrow, we're still very much in that race because Arsenal obviously lost to Everton last week. They've got Watford away on Monday. Chelsea have got to go to Liverpool and they've got to come to us. If we do our business, and I can't see them beating Liverpool. I think they'll lose. I think Liverpool are going to win the league, unfortunately. So on top of that, both Chelsea and Arsenal looking like they're going to the semi-finals of the Europa League, which is another 2 games for them, which is another Thursday-Sunday scenario. I think that is running really, really well for us with Chelsea and Arsenal. Both got tough away games, both going to go deep in the Emmerdale Cup. Then you look at Spurs. Well, Spurs are going to have the same problems they had in January. They don't have a very deep squad. They haven't spent a lot of money. Harry Kane's out for the season, so they're going to be grinding results out as well. So it's there. Top 4 is there for us, and things are starting to level themselves out. Remember I spoke about all these injuries, and I think United have got problems with injuries. This has been going on for years and years and years. But suddenly, especially after the Europa League last night and the injury to Harry Kane, I don't wish these things on people, but it's just what's happened. It's there. But of course, you're masters of your own destiny, and United could miss out on top 4 because we screw it up. Yeah, we've got injuries. Yeah, we've got issues. But beat West Ham at home. Whatever happens on Tuesday night in Barcelona, let's see what happens. It's a one-off. Back against Everton on Sunday, Easter Sunday. Then you've got Man City midweek. Then you've got Chelsea. It's a massive, massive time for United, and we've just got to try and find that belief and confidence in front of goal. But we are not going to have Ander Herrera for a few weeks, which is disappointing. And also, I suppose the problem is we've got players coming back, but are they players that you trust? Alexis Sanchez, is he more of a problem than a problem solver? Nemanja Matic, again, is he more of a problem than a problem solver? I think both players are great to have back in relation to squad depth, but do they make us better or do they make us worse? That's the interesting thing. If Matic comes back and plays like he did the first 2 months under Ollie, he's going to be an asset. But if he comes back and plays like he's played the last 2 months, he's going to slow us down and make us lethargic again. Man with a GoPro says we need Fosu Mensah next season for depth. He's fast. I would I mean, look, talk about Fosu Mensah. Talk about Axel Tuanzebe. What a player he's been for Manchester United recently on loan. He's been brilliant for Aston Villa, and Aston Villa are looking like they're going into the playoffs. So I would love to see Aston Villa get promoted and Tuanzebe maybe to have another year's loan, but in the Premier League that would be absolutely fantastic. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Arsenal better than Manchester United, says Michael Devil. Shut up and go back to Arsenal Fan TV. Are we talking about you? No, you've got a mention because you're in the Emmerdale Cup. I'm not interested in Arsenal. This is a Manchester United fan channel, and I'm not interested in having a rivalry with Arsenal either. You're a dead club, you're a banter club, and I'm fed up of us being even in the same sentence as you. We need to progress from Arsenal. There's a hierarchy in football. It's Man City and Liverpool. They're going for titles. They're the big clubs. Then we are down in the doldrums with Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal. I don't want to be with them anymore. I want to get up to Man City and Liverpool because Arsenal, you're never going on that journey. If Koulibaly comes to United, will he be our captain, says Sidash Dese. United very rarely give the captaincy to a new signing, and I wouldn't expect that we would do that. But very, very quickly on Koulibaly, the amount of people on social media last night, I don't want Koulibaly. He played rubbish against Arsenal in that 45 minutes. Come on, have a laugh. Have a laugh with yourself, for God's sake. I mean, look, he didn't play particularly well last night, but he's a very, very good centre-back. He's infinitely better than what we've done. And you can flip that coin. I watched him play at Anfield back in the autumn against a very good Liverpool side that is far better than Arsenal, and he was absolutely superb. So I think he'd be a good signing. And I actually see the positive. I see the positive. If Napoli get knocked out, that, as I said last night, that's a really big, obvious sign to Koulibaly that he needs to leave Napoli because they're not a very good side, and also maybe his price comes down. Mo Dib says would be really good if the club can come out and be more transparent on what positions they're looking to fill in the summer. Never going to happen, Mo. Never going to happen for many reasons, because if you do that, you expose yourself as to who you're looking at, don't you? So the club have to keep things back. I do. Football Maestro says, Mark, more about the football merchandise, please. Biggest fan. Right, look, this is a United stand zip up top. I'm not going to strip off, but it zips down to there. I wore it for the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction because it's a sort of similar top to what Ollie wears. It's got the United stand badge on it, obviously done by Adidas. The link's in the video description for that. United stand kits, home and away, they're available and they're shifting fast. You've got the black away kit, the red home kit. You can get your numbers on that. And there are T-shirts, there are hoodies and all sorts of that, which I'll be wearing on future shows. But we've finally done it. We've finally got merchandise. A lot of people have been asking, are you going to do it? My only stipulation has always been over the years, I will not sell these T-shirts that people sell that are absolutely shit. It's like, oh, buy my T-shirt. And this crap quality, I've been sent the samples, they're shit. And I won't sell that because I'm only going to sell stuff that I would wear. So it's took a while, but we've finally done it. The link's in the video description. Take a look at what you like, hoodies, tops, everything like that. We are actually going to be giving away a signed shirt as well. I mean, it doesn't have to be signed. The winner will ask them if they want it to be signed or not. Yeah, link in the video description for it. The badges are great. We've got some stuff with the United Stand original badge on. Then you've got United Stand FC on the kits, of course. But the link is in the video description for that. Go and get it. Get it while you can. I think in relation to the United Stand tops, they're going quite fast. Mr. Beast, hope Leeds go up so we can smack them. I want Leeds up. I'd like Villa to come up as well. I want the Premier League to be... It's already the best league in the world. I want it to have more and more. I want to get rid of teams like Huddersfield who are crap and get more of the bigger clubs. Leeds is like a 40,000 capacity. Villa's a 40,000 capacity. Let's get some of these bigger clubs up. Let's make it more and more competitive. And Blake the Third says, I think Koulibaly wants to leave Napoli. His head was gone last night. Maybe we sweep him for him then. Okay. Thanks everybody for watching. Back tonight at 8 o'clock I am. We've got the lads doing the United Talk this afternoon. That'll go up. Saeed, Aaron and Noureddin. Really enjoying those shows. Loads of things going on the United Stand. Please do smash a like on the video as well. It's nice to get 500 likes while we're live. And yeah, go and check out the merch. Go and check out the United Stand stuff. Links in the video description for that. There's something for everybody. It's available in all sizes and you can get it worldwide as well. United Stand original stuff, and we've got the kits as well. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.